He had always considered his life ordinary. He was 27, working a regular job with a loving family and good friends. Life was simple, predictable, safe. He liked it that way. He went to work, came home, spent time with his loved ones. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months, months into years. It was a comfortable, unremarkable existence until it wasn't. The change was sudden, jarring. What began as a faint hum in his ears morphed into distinct melodies. These weren't random tunes, they were songs echoing his very thoughts, his deepest fears and desires. It was unsettling, this intrusion into his mind. He brushed it off initially, attributing it to stress or lack of sleep, but the songs persisted, growing louder, more insistent. Then came the entities, fleeting shadows at the edge of his vision, figures lurking in the periphery, gone before he could focus. His heart pounded in his chest. His breath came in ragged gasps. Were they real or figments of his imagination? He couldn't be sure. Fear, a cold and unwelcome companion, began to take root in his mind. He started questioning everything he had once believed. Was he losing his mind? Was this reality, or was he trapped in some horrifying nightmare? He desperately wanted to wake up. The fear was insidious, seeping into his everyday life. He became withdrawn, shying away from interactions. Sleep offered no escape, haunted by nightmares he couldn't quite recall upon waking. Trust, once a given, became a luxury he couldn't afford. He suspected everyone, even those closest to him. His once ordinary world now seemed menacing, filled with unseen dangers. The songs, once unsettling, were now terrifying, a constant reminder of his unraveling sanity. They whispered doubts, fueled his anxieties, amplified his every fear. His mind, once a sanctuary, was now a battleground. He saw a doctor, then another, desperate for answers. They offered diagnoses of stress, anxiety, even migraines. They prescribed medication. He took it all, hoping for a reprieve. But the songs continued. The entities remained. The fear tightened its grip. He was adrift in a sea of uncertainty, clinging to the wreckage of his former life. His career suffered, his relationships strained under the weight of his secret terror. He was a prisoner in his own mind, trapped in a world that no one else seemed to see. The only solace he found was in his faith. He had always been a spiritual person, finding comfort in prayer and the teachings of Jesus. Now, more than ever, he clung to his beliefs like a lifeline. He prayed for strength, for understanding, for deliverance from the torment. His family, though confused and frightened by his change, remained steadfast in their love and support. They became his anchor, reminding him of the man he once was, the man he could be again. Their unwavering belief in him, their refusal to give up, gave him the strength to keep fighting. His friends, though initially distant, rallied around him. Their presence, their laughter, their simple acts of kindness were beacons of light in his darkening world. They reminded him that he was not alone, that even in the depths of his despair there was still love, still hope. He began to realize that his fear was a shadow, an entity itself. It thrived on his uncertainty, his isolation. He knew he couldn't outrun it, couldn't hide from it. The only way to conquer it was to face it head on. He made a decision. He would no longer allow fear to dictate his life. He would embrace the unknown, accept the possibility that his reality was different, and live as fully as he could. He would trust in his faith, in the love of his family and friends, and in the strength he found within himself. It wasn't easy. There were days when the fear threatened to consume him, when the songs became deafening, when the entities seemed to close in. But he persevered. He clung to his faith, drew strength from his loved ones, and fought back against the darkness. Gradually, something shifted. The fear, though still present, no longer held the same power over him. He began to find moments of peace, glimpses of joy. He reconnected with his loved ones, rebuilt the bridges he had burned, and rediscovered the beauty of the world around him. His life wasn't perfect, but it was his. And in that he found a profound sense of gratitude. He had stared into the abyss and emerged, not unscathed, but stronger, more resilient. He had learned that fear, like faith, is a choice, and he chose to live in the light,